Hey, I wanted to share some background into what's probably the biggest influence on my art, and that's science. When I was through my 20s, I had the pleasure of being able to work in neurobiology and genetics. I was getting a psychology degree, and I was interested in behavioral science, um, and I guess being a part of that world, I think one of the biggest influences it's had on me is I'm not afraid to experiment. And I'm very grateful to have had that experience, because I realize now when I go into music and when I'm working on a track, I'm really going into it like a scientist, and I'm thinking about it like chemistry. You know, it's imagery, it's chemistry, it's data analysis, it's research. And it really exhilarates me, and I haven't felt that exhilaration since I was in the science world. And I really want to bring that into my music. And I'm also the being in that world, it really opened me up to beauty in a different way. I really love scientific imagery. I love sounds. My most recent Pulsar album, one of the tracks is really influenced by the radio emission data, the sounds that pulsars make. I'm really inspired, by the perspective, the scale of things that science really exposes you to. You know, when you're working with DNA, you can't even see it, and you're like, am I actually doing what I think I'm doing with this sample? Am I actually, is DNA what we think it is? You know, and when I first held a human brain, I remember holding it and thinking, like, is this them? Like, am I holding a person? Like, was this their soul? Are we more than our biology? And science really gave me this amazing perspective that really anything's possible. And there's a good chance that we don't know anything at all. And there's a good chance that we know a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. But it's miraculous, it's beautiful. And so I really hope to share that in my music, and I'll have more like direct science related releases like Pulsar. Pulsar was my first time playing around with this concept of teaching science through music, and I want to expand upon that to genetics and neuroscience, and more astronomy and physics releases. And so I want to try to really incorporate science into my art, because I want to share that appreciation and that passion, and I want to inspire and influence people to go and look into these concepts more on their own. Like, what is a pulsar? What does it look like? What does it sound like? You know, and just I don't know, to help share that on some more levels. So God, I could go on about this for so long, and I'm going to spare you. But I really thank you, anyone who took the time to listen. This is the huge uber nerd side of Pale Blue Dot. Much more to come. And I appreciate anyone who's been listening to my music. It's an experimentation, man. You know, I'm a scientist, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep seeing what new kind of stuff I can create in the lab, you know. So anyway, thank you very much, and have a great night.